Time for our featured review. And our featured review this time is looking at the latest horror movie to come out from the one and only Osgood Perkins. He gave us Long Legs last year, which is now apparently a nominee for Best Supporting Actor. Thanks, Todd. And now we have The Monkey.
Immaculate.
Todd, I'm throwing it to you first because I feel like this is your guy. I think because the last movie was Nicolas Cage. So you can talk about The Monkey first. Tell us all about it.
Okay. The Monkey is a Stephen King adaptation, and there's this creepy looking monkey doll with drums. And when the monkey gets wound up, it starts playing the drums, and then someone dies. And so these two young twin brothers find it, and then their family starts to get taken out. And then after trying to dispose of it, 25 years pass, and the thing tries to make a comeback. The brothers, who are now played both by Theo James, now have to try to stop the toy, although more sinister motivations may be at play between them. The movie has a savage opening with Adam Scott at a pawn shop trying to sell the doll. Like, it starts with a bang. I was like, man, I am all in on this thing. The movie, though, has a really weird sense of humor. Like, it's not exactly funny, but it's really twisted. I mean, I guess it makes sense after Long Legs, but he didn't really tap into that. But this is kind of unlike any other Stephen King adaptation I've seen in that way. Like, it feels really modern. It's kind of gimmicky instead of having like a strong mythology or a plot. And even though the movie is bizarre and seemingly invented, it really isn't that scary. I was kind of shocked because the audience had like zero reaction to any of the extreme violence in this, and the violence is pretty extreme. It's trying really hard to do this like Eli Roth level like schlocky horror thing, and it was just kind of like played not very well with the audience I was at. Theo James is a cool actor. I think he'd be the perfect James Bond. Like, the more I see of him, I'm just like, yeah, he needs to be Bond. Elijah Wood randomly pops up in this. He kind of looks like Chester Bennington when he's like sitting on a desk and dressed like Chester. I was like, that's really weird. I guess he could play him. They're making a movie about him. I think the movie is a disappointment, but Oz Perkins is a weirdo. Like, this is the movie he wanted to make, so it's hard to take that much issue with it. I'm at 2.5 stars, but I mean, it probably was more to do with the fact that the audience I watched it with just had zero reaction, and it was like relatively full. So I guess that kind of spoiled it for me.
Okay. Well, I'll go next. I have this at a high 3-star. I had a blast with this movie. It is just like you said, like there's a lot of like excessive violence, but it's played for camp. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but once you settle into it, it's like this movie is a blast. It's so much fun watching all this stuff happen, and it becomes just like what's going to happen next, and you're going to laugh at it because it's really kind of fun. Yeah, Theo James is perfect. I love the idea of him playing Bond. And I guess that's some of the other big news this week is that the producers of Bond finally like officially gave over the creative rights to Amazon MGM. So maybe a Bond actually gets made sometime soon. But yeah, Elijah Wood, early favorite for a Matt Damon nomination at the Pinos next year. I don't know. This movie it's just fun. Like once you settle in and be like, oh, this is what we're doing. Like, this is nothing like Long Legs. Long Legs is just this over the top, like jump scare thing. And this is just like, there's no jump scares. There's nothing that's going to cringe you, but my audience was laughing because I thought it was funny. It is a twisted sense of humor, but it is funny. I like how it describes it. The genres on IMDb are dark comedy, horror, and splatter horror. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it's a genre on IMDb. Yeah, high 3 stars for me. I really enjoyed this one. So Zach, where are you gonna fall?
Well, when I first saw that we were going to go see an R-rated monkey movie, the first thing I thought was
a movie about a guy who has sex in a monkey mask.
I mean, this is what we were kind of hoping for. Didn't get it in this movie, and of course, Terry, you went in the total wrong direction. I absolutely hated this movie, really from start to finish.
Now, wow.
I liked about it. I like the opening title font and the end title font. I'm always looking for fonts these days. You know, you go on Google Fonts, defont.com. There's nothing out there, okay? Osgood Perkins is good at finding fonts, and I like the hipster retro music in it. Other than that, this movie I thought was really bad. Okay, my first complaint, and I wrote this down. First of all, I'm tired of having a blast at movies, okay? Everybody who walks out of this movie, they think they're going to say, I had a blast. Even you said it, Terry. I don't want to have a blast at a movie. I want to, is it too much to ask for a story? Okay, is it too much to ask for character development? How about instead of blood splatter and jump cuts and scenes that end too early because you don't have the integrity to follow through with them, let's give us an actual story here with like actual character development, okay? Okay, so that's my first problem. I had a blast. This movie is designed to make you have a blast. It's not designed to make you think or actually process anything. It's just designed to give you a blast. I also really hated that the gratuitously violent deaths in the movie are a screenplay crutch. I mean, come on, again, give us something more here. Give us more of a backstory instead of this Jumanji-esque plot where the monkey, inflicts this pain around everybody. I mean, give us something a little bit deeper or maybe more sinister instead of these Deadpool-esque jump cuts. And again, I'm looking at Theo James and glasses. I'm thinking this is Ryan Reynolds bullshit. It might end up on Terry's 100. Who knows? Might end up in Best Minor Character Award next year. Who knows? I didn't even know that was Elijah Wood, by the way. That's kind of I had to look up I couldn't even remember the scene. Yeah, I really hated this movie. I mean, I don't find gratuitously violent deaths that funny. I don't find jump cuts that funny. Osgood Perkins wanted to make a comedy here. He wants to say something about erratic, abstract nature of violent deaths in a Final Destination-like way, but with like Deadpool-like jump cuts and like poor things like absurdity. Those are not movies I respond well to. Okay, now it's interesting that this movie comes on the heels of Longlegs, which was an immensely successful film, got Cage his Pinot nomination this year. What's interesting and why I can't entirely trust my hatred of the movie is that it was so different than this movie. I've never seen, I really didn't like Longlegs either. But I've never seen a filmmaker within the span of basically 8 months make two shitty movies that were that different. I mean, I guess you could go with Yorgos for Kinds of Kindness and Poor Things, but those were kind of similar movies in a way. These two movies are very different. The problem with Longlegs was the exact opposite problem. It took itself too seriously. I wanted more fun Nicolas Cage, okay? I wanted leader of the SS, werewolf, Nick Cage, okay? Fu Manchu, all right? I didn't want that. I wanted less of that in this movie. I wanted something a little bit more sincere, but that was never going to happen with the stupid blood splatter throughout. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't respond. I'm never on this guy's wavelength. I don't get it. By the way, apparently there's a trailer. The post-credit scene is the trailer for his third movie. Third movie in 12 months. Are you kidding me? Anyway, I'm at 1.5 stars. I know all the people out there are going to come at me like they did with Todd for the Country of Brazil. Oh, we love this movie. Great, it's getting great scores and all that. I don't like having a blast at movies, okay? I actually want a real movie with a real story and real characters. So give me something real. I don't know. You went in the wrong order, Terry. Thumbs down for me.
Yeah, I did say and watch the trailer because it was part one of my double feature. So I had extra time. So I just sat there and waited for the credits to end before I left. And yeah, I was like, oh, there's a post-credit scene. And yeah, it's for a new movie called Keeper. And this one looks like twisted, dark horror. So we get to see the other side of Osgood Perkins coming up. Looks like October 3rd is when that one will be coming out. Also starring Tatiana Maslany, who plays the mother in this one.
Yeah. And my theater didn't respond to it either. I mean, it was kind of like Todd's experience. No one was really laughing. You know, like I thought there was some painfully cringy things in this movie that didn't work. Like the preacher at all the funerals. The funerals, okay, that's kind of funny as a setup that we keep cutting back to the picture of the people at the funerals. What the hell was with that preacher? I mean, is that supposed to be funny? I don't get it. Like, it's not, and you can't just keep doing the thing where you're going to do a 3-second quick cut to someone dying in a spectacularly violent way and think that shit is entertaining. Actually write a movie. I don't know. Maybe I'm off basis here. Maybe it's just a generational thing. Back in my day, Tim Blake Nelson and Stephen Gaghan made great movies that were, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Someone explain it to me.
It definitely felt like a movie that you had to be on the wavelength for. And if you weren't, you were going to hate it. And if you were going to have fun with it. And you weren't. I was. Todd was somewhere in the middle.
Todd was in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Messed up the order.
I wanted to be. I just feel like I was held back because my honest. I was like, oh, that was a good one. I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was just me. Like that was kind of what I was thinking throughout. Because I mean, it does have that like a lot of some of that Eli Roth kind of stuff in it, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like, why is nobody responding to this? It's kind of weird.
Because everyone loves Borderlands so much. Hey, you got a character in a movie named Bill who has a brother, and his name isn't Bud, and no one can come up to him and say, "Wrong brother, you hateful bits." That's a missed opportunity in this movie. Come on, Osgood Perkins.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. It is what it is. The word of the Lord. I gave it 3 stars. Todd gave it 2.5. Zach gave it 1.5. It's in theaters. You can check it out there. If any of this sounds interesting, go see it. If not, don't. It's a horror movie. It's bloody. It's gory, and it's
like
fun,
all that's out right now are horror
funny.
movies.